Everyone, we know this is the most wonderful time of the year, but it can also lead to a lot of stress. A new survey finds unrealistic expectations for the holidays are stressing out both parents and children. Here's Bradley Blackburn with more.
Mom Stephanie Mortimer knows the holiday season can be hectic. She's squeezing in some shopping with her son Eli and their friends.
We have to decorate the house, we have to get all the gifts, we have to make sure the kids have a memorable holiday.
In December, it can feel like the to-do list is longer than Santa's list.
Do you ever feel a pressure to get it a certain way?
For sure, yeah. And then you're not sure if everybody always notices, right?
A new CS Mott Children's Hospital national poll finds parents are worried their holiday stress may be taking away from holiday joy.
A lot of them feel like that has a negative impact on their child's enjoyment of the holidays, and that's just so unfortunate.
The poll shows nearly a third of parents are stressed during the holidays by extra shopping, balancing finances, and especially keeping their family healthy. Moms are twice as likely as dads to experience high stress, and 1 in 5 parents believes their stress negatively affects their kids during the holiday season. Sarah Clark is the poll co-director.
I think in some families, we're trying to make up for some things missed over the last year or year and a half. And I don't really think that's the approach that is going to be most helpful.
Experts say to make the season brighter, sit down with your family and ask everyone what they really want from Christmas. Keep your favorite traditions alive, but think about which activities you can cut or minimize.
The presents and the holiday spirit and the meals, I guess.
What about the elf on the shelf?
Oh, yeah.
So check the to-do list twice and try to trim some of the stress for more joy this season. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
All right, well, it's time for the last-minute sprint. Americans are hitting the stores, frantically searching for those last-minute gifts today for what little time you have left. Well, finding them is one thing, getting them on time is another. Here's Janet Shamlian.
'Tis the night before the Christmas panic. When all through the stores, like Houston's Fundamentally Toys, procrastinators paced the aisles.
And you waited till the last minute because...
It's like that every time. There's just no way about it.
Manager Cliff Moss says the most popular items are long gone.
What's it like in the store right now?
It's crazy. We don't have a lot of what they might be looking for.
For those relying on premium services to deliver gifts before Christmas, it's almost the midnight hour.
I'm sending out a parcel. It gets there on time, but I doubt it.
At the post office, Thursday is the last day to ship Priority Mail Express. Same with next day delivery via UPS and FedEx. And only FedEx can help you if you wait until Friday using same-day delivery. With an active season driven by pent-up demand, the National Retail Federation predicts record sales.
It looks like actual retail sales will exceed our forecast and be upwards of 11% in terms of growth.
But the Omicron variant could be a last-minute Grinch.
What about the U-turn of the last few days in terms of the rise of the new variant?
Well, we always knew that COVID could cause some uncertainty around the holidays.
Outdoor shopping centers like this have been especially popular amid COVID concerns, and this is the time people tend to hit those brick and mortar stores as some of the online sellers can't deliver in time. Janet Shamlian, CBS News, Houston.
As medical professionals and researchers continue their war against cancer, CBS's Dr. John LaPook looks at the racial divide.
I was so afraid to go that I was putting off going.
Tracy Tomer had her first mammogram at age 53 after feeling a lump in her breast. She was diagnosed with breast cancer, but there were delays before treatment began.
In this area that I live in Brownsville, there's no mammogram service over here. There's no chemo service over here. There's no radiation.
Black women are more likely than white women to have tumors missed during screening and to have delays in diagnosis and treatment. One reason is access to care.
All the appointments were so far away from one another. It's really a bad situation for women of color in this neighborhood.
When it comes to breast and other cancers, the hard truth is there's a racial divide. While black and white women have the same chance of getting breast cancer, black women are more likely to be diagnosed with advanced cancer and are 40% more likely to die from it.
there are biases. There are implicit and explicit biases that exist within healthcare systems.
Tomer surgeon Dr. Vivian B. is trying to change that equation.
And we have to look at the finances, the transportation. You can have a cancer treatment center, but if it's not accessible, patients cannot get to those areas.
There are racial differences in the biology of tumors and the types of breast cancer.
Black women are more likely to be diagnosed with actually a triple negative breast cancer, which is more difficult to treat.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
In the 1990s, genetic researcher John Carpton was studying patients with a strong family history of prostate cancer, which kills black men at twice the rate of white men.
I remember asking myself, I wonder how many of these families are African American.
That was hard to answer because racial and ethnic minorities have been underrepresented in research studies.
If we've got 95% of the data coming from whites, how can we say that we understand the full complexity of cancer when we know that the cancers disproportionately impact other groups?
My new journey in life has been dealing with breast cancer.
Tomer is now spreading a message of cancer awareness, including a tattoo that says it all.
Get your dukes up. Get your dukes up.
That's right.
Dr. John LaPook, CBS News, New York.
Coming up, real or artificial? What's your preference for your Christmas tree? We'll take a closer look when we come back. Welcome back. During this Christmas season, for Christmas trees, there is always this age-old debate, artificial or real. Roxana Saberi reports.
At Primrose Vale Farm in England, this Christmas tree has waited all year
Filled out, all these bits come out. Looking good.
to reunite with decampling. For the second year in a row, the interior designer is renting the living potted tree for around $60. Why did you want to get a rental Christmas tree?
Every year I hate seeing the used Christmas trees left on the side of the road. People just dump them. It seems that renting a tree is the most environmentally friendly way of celebrating Christmas.
Environmentalists say a chopped tree can leave a heavy carbon footprint unless it's recycled, and that plastic trees can be even worse. That's one reason rental trees are a growing trend in the UK. Manager Paul Keane says nearly all of his farm's 1,000 firs and spruces for rent were reserved long before Christmas.
I think people love the idea of keeping a tree alive, of not killing it for Christmas.
After Christmas, the rental trees will be brought back here. They'll be replanted in these pots in the ground where they'll live to see another Christmas. That's what Campling plans to do, decking her halls year after year with the same tree. Roxana Saberi, CBS News, Gloucestershire, England.
A town in Central California literally could dry up and disappear because it's running out of water. Stratford, about 40 miles south of Fresno, was built on the backs of farmers. As the groundwater has dried up, so has the town, turning it into a ghost of what it once was. Meteorologist Evelyn Taft shows us how residents are now trying to save it.
It's 7 a.m. in this small Central California town.
Dick, you're back, huh?
Yeah, I made it back.
So small, in fact, it doesn't have a diner. Instead, the locals get their coffee here.
Their first drive, they got down to the 3-yard line.
Every morning, a pot of strong brew greets the regulars inside this auto parts shop.
Everything's deteriorated, over the years. Can't even buy gas here no more. You got to go to Leamore.
It's not just the gas station that disappeared. So did the old hotel, meat market, and restaurant in the farming community of Stratford, which some are calling a ghost town.
What do you think the future holds?
Just going to be tough.
It's a problem that's been brewing for years, livelihoods drying up, all because of water, or lack thereof.
I had about 20 employees, and then when we downsized, then I had to drop 5.
And acreage-wise, it was 3,000 acres?
Yes, 3,000, then down to 2.
Wow.
This is where my dad used to live.
Farmer Charles Meyer has lived here almost his entire life, but lately his worries have been growing more than his cotton.
Hopefully sometime this winter, maybe it'll rain. And then if it still doesn't rain, then it'll just stay worked up, it'll stay fallow.
Less water from the sky means he has to get it from underground. He recently dug this well to save his almond and pistachio orchards.
The tree looks pretty bad from all the yellow leaves.
What would happen if you lost these trees and you didn't have the well?
Well, it would be a very tight financial pinch. The bank might try to take our land.
So that means no jobs.
Yeah, no jobs.
In a good water year, you'd see water up to about here.
Jacob Westra is with the Tulare Lake Basin Water Storage District.
We're walking through here. We're certainly not swimming through here.
Correct. And we should be swimming.
His agency's job is to bring state water from Northern California to 190,000 acres of farmland through this canal. This year, it's only getting about 5% of its contractual share from the state.
Not looking good this year. Next year's not looking good either at all.
So it could be zero.
Potentially zero.
And that means it's not looking good for the farmers, people in Stratford.
Yeah, no. When the farmers have less water, that's less jobs.
This is the only pool in town.
It was.
It was.
Yeah.
We met up with local teacher Robert Esquerdo at his childhood home, which used to be the unofficial community pool for local kids. It's been dry for 15 years.
Water's gone. And when the water's gone, the crops are gone. And when the crops are gone, we don't have jobs.
But he refuses to give up. These days, he spends his spare time running a nonprofit raising money to save the town. But for him, it's about more than just dollars.
Well, we had various grants in the past. We had a 5K run, but the big goal is we want this to be a place that people feel proud to be part of.
Does it feel empty?
At times, yes, it does. But you don't want to just sit in that emptiness. You want to fill it with hope.
You think one day you'll fill it up?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's the plan.
It's said that hope floats. Here in Stratford, it might be the only thing keeping a community alive.
If this pool ever gets to the point where we can fill it up again, I think that would be a reflection on the community being back to what it was.
I'm Evelyn Taft in Stratford, California.
A trip a million miles away, a preview of the launch of the James Webb Space Telescope when we come back. NASA is counting down to a Christmas morning launch of the new James Webb Space Telescope. At $10 billion, it will be the biggest and most expensive science instrument ever sent into space. Mark Strausman reports.
From its perch a million miles beyond Earth, the James Webb Space Telescope will glimpse the dawn of time like nothing before it.
The universe is this 13.8 billion year story, and we're missing some key paragraphs in the very first chapter.
NASA astrophysicist Amber Strawn hopes Webb's discoveries will fill in the blanks.
You're talking about potentially answering some of the questions that have occurred to people since the first people looked up at the stars.
Absolutely. We don't know how galaxies got their start. We will hopefully be able to see those first galaxies for the very first time. And of course, galaxies are the homes of stars, and stars are the homes of planets, and planets, of course, are the homes of life.
Webb's 18 gold-plated hexagonal-shaped mirrors will align to create one giant mirror. It's 21 feet across, 6 times larger than the one on the Hubble Space Telescope. For more than 3 decades, Hubble has given us stunning, humbling views of the universe. But Webb will be a major upgrade. Like a night vision camera, this infrared telescope will search for heat signatures of the very first light after the Big Bang. Mike Menzel is the Webb's mission systems engineer.
We're looking for some of the faintest objects that there are to see in the universe. In fact, we are looking for the faintest objects.
To block the sun's heat from blinding Webb, engineers designed a first-of-its-kind sun shield, the size of a tennis court.
This is material, this is Kapton material that makes up those layers of the sun shield. This material here is about 2/1000 of an inch thick.
Yeah, it's amazing how much responsibility something this thin has.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Yes.
And because that sun shield is so big, it and everything else had to fold up to fit inside the rocket. Once in space, Webb will carefully unfold and rebuild itself like robotic origami.
It'll be 2.5 weeks of high anxiety.
Project manager Bill Oakes.
It's more complex than any satellite NASA's ever launched. It is hands down.
If any one of 344 parts fail, the entire mission could be jeopardized. About 1/3 involved deploying that sun shield, 1,300 feet of cables, almost 600 pulley assemblies, and it all has to work.
A million miles out, something goes wrong, there's no call in AAA.
No, that is no call in AAA, but I am confident that we did everything we could on the ground to maximize the probability of success of this mission.
Webb's first images about 6 months away. Worth the wait for the chance to see baby pictures of the universe. Mark Strassman, Greenbelt, Maryland.
Coming up, a conversation with Justino Diaz when we come back. Stay with us. Opera legend Justino Diaz has a career spanning more than 60 years. His remarkable bass baritone voice has taken Diaz to the stages of the world's greatest opera houses. He was recently one of the 5 artists honored by the Kennedy Center for their immense contributions to American culture. Take a look.
Do you remember your first day of school?
I remember my first year of school. It was 3rd grade.
Take opera great Justino Diaz back to his old school in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and the memories come alive. It was here in the small chapel of the Robinson School where Diaz, as a young student, first sang in front of an audience.
And I remember it was the most natural thing in the world to stand here and gone are the days when my heart was young and gay.
From that voice of a young boy developed the booming bass baritone of one of opera's most celebrated stars.
I took to it like a fish takes to water.
From the moment that you sang in the chapel to
you don't become an opera singer.
You don't become an opera singer.
No. Every human being does 2 things before they can realize what they're doing. They dance, they react to music in their mother's arms, and then the mother sings. Da da dee, da da dee, 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 dee. The first thing you hear in your life, and remember, is a song, music, art. Let it make you cry, let it make you laugh, let it make you think, let it make you love.
Diaz, who says he was born to entertain, is best known for playing Escamillo in Bizet's Carmen. His roles in Verdi's Rigoletto and as Iago in Otello, the operatic adaptation of Shakespeare. Along with his powerful voice, he brings his gifts as an actor to every role.
There are some singers, unfortunately, in opera it happens also. They sing everything with the same color voice. I love you, I hate you.
That's boring.
You said the word. You took it right out of my mouth. 2 sins in music, in opera, as a singer. Never sing out of tune. And never bore your audience.
So, how would you emote those very different sentiments?
Well, it depends on the notes. I hate you. It's inside and I hate you. And usually love is in a higher tone. I love you. Da 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 dee. I love you. Dee da 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 da. I love Paris in the springtime.
Diaz has been an important part of opera history. He played opposite Leontine Price in Antony and Cleopatra when New York's Metropolitan Opera opened its permanent home at Lincoln Center in 1966.
All of the ghosts that were in the old Met, they moved to the new theater.
They do?
Oh, yes.
I've always
From
wondered.
39th Street to Lincoln Center, they moved.
Now Diaz joins a small handful of opera singers honored by the Kennedy Center. joining modern giants Beverly Sills, Leontine Price, and Luciano Pavarotti, among others.
Opera is the greatest form of entertainment.
You believe that?
Oh, yes, 100%. You have to give it a chance. It's not easy. Just give it a chance. You'll learn, and you will learn to appreciate it, and it will change your being forever. It will change you.
What would you want your legacy to be?
Oh, I don't think about that.
You don't think about legacy?
Legacy? No, I just hope that you liked what I did and got something out of it. I hope it inspired other people. It doesn't matter one iota what you do. Just do it with care. Do it with love. And give your all. I hear those gentle voices calling, Old Black Joe.
Vladimir Duthier, CBS News.
Etc., etc., etc.
And we'll be right back to wrap things up. Stay with us. All right, be sure you stay connected with us. We'd love to hear from you. We'll see you back here tomorrow.